My name is Danielle Louie. I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology at the end of last semester, December 2019, and with a minor in theater.
I was wondering if you could tell us what you are up to now. What position are you working in? And if you could tell us, where you're doing that work and what that work looks like.
So I'm working as a psychiatric technician at Intermountain Hospital here in Boise. It's kind of in the central Boise area near St. Al's, and it's an in-treatment mental health facility. So there's, I want to say 6, 7 units that house different kind of not areas of mental health, but degrees of mental health.
And what do you do as a psych tech in this environment?
So as a psych tech, I'm in charge of keeping an eye on all the patients and maintaining their safety. And so there's a lot of like smaller details into the work that I do. I work overnight, so it's a little bit different for me than some of the other psych techs that have a day shift or a swing shift. But basically, I'm in charge of, doing rounds on the patients every 15 minutes as needed. If they're more acute and they're on like a Q5, that means I do rounds on them every 5 minutes and keep an eye on them. Some patients are on direct ops or one-to-one, which is like you're with them within arm's length so that if anything should happen, you're immediately available. A direct ops is more like line of sight. They always have to be in your line of sight. And that usually takes one psych tech per that person. And then they don't do anything else. They're just in charge of that one patient. In general, though, every 15 minutes, walking the units, checking on the patients. I need to make sure I see their faces are clear, their neck is clear. Unfortunately, it's a little invasive in their privacy. Like if they're in the bathroom, I have to open the bathroom door to make sure that they're okay. It's one thing for them, to say, I'm fine, but then they have something around their neck, and 15 minutes later, it's too late. So I have to see their face. So at nighttime when I'm doing rounds, I have to have a flashlight on me and I'm checking on their breathing, and I have to see their chest rise and fall about 3 times. Nothing obstructing their neck or their face. And then, I'm just monitoring like how they're breathing, if they're labored breathing, if they're snoring excessively. And then I report that to the charge nurse who's in charge of all the medical stuff. And then there's med nurses and stuff like that. So I don't do any of the med passing or any of the medical necessities, I guess, but I am there to do vitals twice a day. And just maintain their health and safety for the most part. The health and safety is the main priority. And then obviously on the night shift, I do a lot of other tasks.
Okay, I see.
On the Journeys adolescent unit, there's definitely more interaction just because they're teenage girls, and they're kind of all across the board. They can have psychosis or behavioral issues, but because they're adolescents, they're on the adolescent unit. They can't be on any of the adult units. Mm-hmm. Or they can just be, they have suicidal ideation, or they're depressed, or they have substance abuse. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of all across the board. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have troubled pasts, which is really sad. And so they're looking for just some like positive attention. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are just looking for attention in general because they're teenagers, and then they're also going through a bunch of the hormone changes and are extremely emotional and just need attention.
Yes.
Need attention. So we do on the night shift, we do a community group where we go around and we ask them like to rate their day and whether they feel safe or not, if they met their goal they had earlier. Sorry, my cat.
No, that's fine.
and yeah, just to see where they're at. And it kind of gives them a chance to also interact with each other, and which can be good or bad
Sure.
sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the group.
Right. So Danielle, could you tell me, was there any particular experience or class that you took at Boise State in your time in the psychology department that you feel like helped prepare you or give you some context for this job that you're doing now?
Yeah, well, so I would say that every class really has helped me in this position. The abnormal psych class definitely, um, made me really interested in the different diagnoses that a person can have. At the same time, being in the psych tech position and being like face to face with patients, you realize that there's a huge difference between what you learn in the books on different diagnoses and what you deal with in person. And a person can have multiple diagnoses and it looks just so different person to person.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different. It's not so black and white in person. So, it helped on one hand, and on the other hand, it's like, whoa, I feel so unprepared because I thought I knew more about this than I did when I'm dealing with it in person.
Sure.
I think one of the best classes that I've taken was Intro to Counseling, in learning just like how to talk to patients in a more therapeutic manner. Just like being able to reflect how they're feeling and the emotions that they're experiencing and trying to listen attentively has been really helpful, specifically with the adolescent population. ICU's, again, a little bit more difficult. Just I think you need a bit more training, in my opinion, to be able to interact one-on-one and effectively with patients like that.
In the ICU scenario.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, Danielle. It's nice for our students to have a sense of what a psych tech position is like and know that is an option for them.